So it has been a little bit since I posted. I understand that. I have kind of been having a horrible cold for the past forever, and then I got really self-conscious about like how I sound on or in audio, I guess I should say. Um and like obviously you can hear like my mouth makes noise and you can hear my breathing, and editing all that out was a lot. So I figured, what the heck, let's just be transparent. I will sound how I sound. I'm not a professional. I'm recording in my living room in the middle of the day. So if you hear a kid in the background, that's probably one of my two kids, though I will try to edit that out as much as possible. But let's get into it. For today's artwork that you'll be seeing me do are some of the Hazbin Hotel duck artworks that I've been doing recently. And I really love them, and they've been really well loved on like TikTok. So I'm hoping to bring those to YouTube and kind of show how amazing and awesome they look. They are made into stickers and available on my Ko-Fi if anybody's interested in that. So we are on Best of Redditor updates because I cannot stand an unconcluded story. Of course, I won't always be reading from this subreddit, but for these first couple few, I guess I will, just because I really like the stories on here. The title of this one is Me, 34 female, with my fiance, 34 male, living together for 1 month. Am I too petty, or should I seriously consider ending it? There are some trigger warnings on this for hygiene issues, possible weaponized incompetence, and deception. If those are things that bother you, now's your chance to turn off. I've never posted in relationships before, and not using a throwaway because my fiance doesn't Reddit, as if that's ever stopped anyone from finding one. Anyways. Anyway, I met Brad 6 months ago. I was living out of the state and he was visiting. We met and everything was awesome. We laughed, sex was amazing, we had fun. We continued to see each other for 6 months. We lived about 3 hours apart, so while it was long distance, it wasn't horrible to see each other on a regular basis. Over the 6 months, we spent a lot of time together. We would spend up to 10 days at a time together. After 6 months, I was sure he and I would be together for a long time. Brad asked me to marry him, and I said yes. 6 weeks ago, Brad asked me to move in with him. Since then, shit has gone downhill for me. And fast. Brad is a goddamn slob. And we're talking fine dishes that have been sitting around for days, hidden kind of slob. I literally spent 3 days cleaning when I got to his apartment. Side note, I had spent time here before this, 4 days at a time, usually about 2 and 4 months in. But he typically came to my place. Before, when I had visited, I did not notice anything horrific about the place. The only thing I can come up with is that he had a maid service clean before I visited. I don't mind cleaning, but I work odd hours and I cannot keep up on my own. I've said this to him and he says, I'll help. Never does. I do 100% of the cleaning with the exception of him loading a dishwasher 3 times and running it. Oh, and once he walked with me to the laundromat. Brad also has a lot of health issues. He seems to never be feeling good. I'll suggest, hey, let's go get a drink, and he'll say, oh, I don't feel good, maybe. Now, he has never said don't go because he's not going. I'm 100% free to do as I wish. I can't blame him for health issues. Which brings me to the next topic. He played down these health issues the entire time I've known him until about a week ago when SHTF shit hit the fan. Okay. When shit hit the fan. Because he's not been taking care of himself. He has zero self control about eating and is diabetic. Yes, I knew he took pills for this, but when he binge eats at night after I go to sleep, there is no way I can help him with that. Plus, he's a goddamn adult. He needs to show self control. It's not my job to be his diet coordinator, nor to be the food police. The real issue with that is that I feel I was lied to in some way. He said he didn't want to show me how not normal he is. There are other things too, minor things, but I feel they are building into not so minor things. He's got zero table manners. We're talking can't eat without sticking your whole damn hand in your mouth like some caveman. Bad kind of manners. I've mentioned this to him and he said, oh, I'll try. He's completely OCD about our budget. It's not even like we're struggling. He just makes budgets, remakes budgets, and lectures me about budgets. He smells. I don't know what it is, but there's a lot of the time he just smells off. I don't know if this is due to his health issue, but I've never noticed it prior to living with him. He also farts a lot. He makes no attempt to excuse himself when he does this. This is a level of comfort I am not okay with. He does it in his sleep, sometimes so loud it wakes me. Sleep has never been easy with him. This I knew going into it. It's never really worked sleeping together with me. Brad snores loudly. He sleeps in the middle of the bed. He tries to take my pillow. I haven't had a good night's sleep in 6 freaking weeks. He's constantly asking me if things are okay. He says I'm sorry for every goddamn thing. He's basically driving me insane slowly. I was alone for a year prior to this, and I don't know if this is a normal adjustment period or if I should just call it quits now. I love him, but finding myself slowly resenting him for these things. Am I being a picky bitch, or are these enough of a red flag I should just cut my losses? TLDR, fiance is driving me slowly insane. Do I suck it up and deal or cut my losses? There are a couple edits here that answer like a couple of questions that I kind of had while reading this, so I'm going to get into those really quick before I kind of give my thoughts on it. Since so many people are saying this, yes, I have brought up each and every issue with him, some of them several times. I obviously don't want him to die, and I told him I was super concerned for his health, ignoring the fact that he basically lied about it, i.e., downplayed it, for almost 7 months. I also find it odd that more people have issue with me calling him a slob than that fact. And yes, there is a lot of good. He is loving and kind. He does an excellent job at his work, could easily support us financially. He is brilliant. This wasn't really about how wonderful he is, though. If it was, this would be a pointless post. And then edit 2 is just, I had no idea this would get your response. Thank you, everyone, for your insight, and a special thank you to the person who wrote me and told me my babies would die from fart cancer. Stay classy. I will speak to him again this evening, but odds are I'm going to end this. I take full responsibility for rushing into this, and will learn from that mistake. And then edit 3, because I'm an idiot and forgot. A lot of people are asking about the smell. I don't think it's a sweet smell. It's just off. I can't really place it. It's not sweet, shit smelling, or BO. It's just off. And then, before I really get into the comments that were listed under this, I have a hard time being mean to this man because for sure some of it is weaponized incompetence. Like, you lived alone. What do you mean you can't clean your house? Why is it dirty? Why is that all on her? But also, it does sound like he is struggling with something. She doesn't really explain what the health issues are, which, her prerogative. I'm not gonna denigrate her for that. I mean, it's not our business, truly. But, some of those health issues could come with some really bad mental health as well. I mean, like, I'm ill and my mental health is not great. So I could definitely see how it could get this bad. And unfortunately, some people just don't want help, or you can't make them get help. Unfortunately, I know people like this, and it's just hard to be around them. It's hard to support them. And at the end of the day, you just kind of feel like you're slowly losing it. That being said, she rushed into this relationship really fast. I almost commented on it when I read it, but like 6 months of knowing each other, and like you only lived there for 6 weeks, and now it's a problem. And you already proposed, and you hadn't lived together before he proposed. That's a lot. So like, and I can't really even say much. Me and my current fiance, who is the father of my kids, we got together like a couple weeks into knowing each other, and by got together I mean we started officially dating one-on-one. He stayed the night at my house. I was living with my grandparents at the time. He stayed the night with me a few times, and then it just kind of morphed into he never went back to his parents' place, and we moved in together. And then we moved out of my grandparents' house, bought our own house. Now we're living at a farm together 6 years later. So like, I am the exception. I am not the rule, and I know that. So, like, I can't be like, oh, shame on you for rushing into this relationship, obviously, because I obviously kind of did the same thing. I settled down quickly into a relationship, and while mine worked, this is the other side of that coin. The other side of, jumping the shark a little bit and getting into the deep water of a relationship before you're ready, or before you truly know the other person. This could happen. And unfortunately, there's nothing to kind of tell you it's happening until it's already, happened. I feel like I say happened a lot. And plus, in my situation, I had already known my fiance, not one-on-one, but he went to the rival school of my high school. And I know his friends. I went to school with his friends. Like, our social circles were very intertwined. We were both from very small towns, about 15 minutes from each other. So it turns out most of his family members know most of my family members. And so it's just kind of one of those things where it worked out here. And obviously, OP here is seeing the other side of that, where it's not working out. So there are a couple comments, and so this is how you know that I source these immediately before recording, because there's a couple comments here, but what I did not see was an update. I thought the edits were the end of it, because in the edit she's like, well, I'm gonna leave him. I'm like, oh, well, yeah, so that's concluded, because, like, you're leaving him. There's nothing else to be learned there. But let's get into this update. So, my original post really blew up, and I wanted to say thank you for all the great, not so great, and downright rude comments, and many thanks to several PMs I got as well. Sorry if there's mistakes, but it's 3:30 a.m. and I am on my phone. No worries, OP. I'm gonna make mistakes reading this, so on us both at this point. So this morning when Brad was getting up, missing the morning at work yet again because he was too lazy to get up and out by 8 a.m. How is he keeping his job? Ooh, I'd get fired. He could tell there was something wrong. I, of course, was upset and told him we needed to talk. I basically told him everything. He actually forced me to tell him every little tiny thing he does that I didn't like, which was pretty horrible for me, but I think really eye-opening to him. He actually had a doctor's appointment late in the day yesterday, and I told him about the smell. He then failed to say anything to the doctor, which was really upsetting. In the end, I told him we needed to split up. I told him I felt we moved too fast and we needed to learn a lot more about each other. I told him I was leaving and he fought me on this, saying that we could work on these things together. I told him I couldn't stay, that I needed to work on myself while he worked on himself. He cried a lot and I cried as well. It was very difficult because he really is a good person beyond the issues he has. So in 9 hours, I'll be heading back to where I moved from. I'm not really sure where we stand, but we aren't engaged anymore. So that's my update. Talked, broke up, moved out. Lesson learned. Thanks, Reddit. The final comments on this are just, my favorite part was the part where he hid all of his serious health issues from you until you were engaged and living together. What did you learn from this? Not being a dick, but seriously, most people would not move in with someone long distance after 6 months. And then OP, thank you for this. Yes, I made the mistake of moving too fast, but really, am I supposed to assume somebody is lying about everything? As the post below says, I'd never ever find anyone if I was looking for flaws. What I learned, that things are not as they seem. I learned that I'm actually a lot stronger than I thought for leaving. Hell, I'm on a train right now. I learned that taking an extra 6 months, 6 years is really okay and I don't have to rush. I also learned that diabetics can give off a weird smell. I mean, at the end of that, I do think OP maybe came away with some good knowledge about how, not everything needs to be quick. Some things can happen slowly. However, I don't like that, should I never assume anyone is lying. I mean, no, you shouldn't assume people are lying, but you should assume there are aspects to their personality that you don't know about. So, I mean, in theory, I guess not in theory, but in practice, you met a stranger and moved in with them after 6 months. I understand you spent a lot of time with them. That's cool. I went to school with my classmates for 12 years, because I went to the same, 11 years technically. I went to the same school all but 1 year. So I wouldn't move in with most of them, because even though we spent 8 hours a day together for 11 years, I don't know many of them. In fact, I did move in with somebody in high school, and that's just to say it was my best friend, who I'm still best friends with. And that's just to say, at the end of the day, you truly do not know a person. And you can't know a person in totality in 6 months. That's just not possible. And for those that try it and it works, superb, wonderful. I am so happy for you. But we should be treating that as the exception and not the rule. Because this situation was okay, but what happens when it's a situation where he freaks out because you're leaving? Where it turns out he was hiding something a lot more dangerous, a lot more dark. It wasn't just some health issues that might come up. It was some serious things that have happened, and it could put you in danger. And you can tell me, oh my god, that's so dark. That's so too deep for this silly little haha Reddit story about a man who stink. I'm like, yeah, it is dark and it is deep, but I was born female. Even though I'm non-binary, I am not immune from what happens to women. So at the end of the day, that is what I think about. I have 2 daughters, and I would be terrified if they were in a situation like even just like this. I would be scared because, I mean, You didn't know this person. What if he had reacted bad? I see. Sorry, I feel like I'm harping on the same topic, and I don't know if maybe I'm a little too deep in this. I'm just kind of feeling emotions for OP that even OP doesn't really care about. But what do you guys think? Let me know if like my opinion on that you didn't really agree with. I'm not used to having to form opinions right away, and relay those and those be my solid opinions. So I'll probably think about this for like a month, and maybe in a month I'll think something different. Maybe in a month I'll be like, yeah, girl, get it. I probably won't, but just in case. What are you guys thinking on this one? Okay, so I skimmed this next one, and it's actually really sweet, so we're gonna read this one because it makes me feel good. My 27M girlfriend, 25, female, has had the flu for several days. Yesterday she had some serious hygiene issues that I happily helped clean, and today she is so embarrassed that she won't even let me in her room. Apparently, the theme of this episode is hygiene issues. We've been together 7 months and are planning to move in together in January. Since last week, she has had a pretty nasty bout with the flu. Yesterday, it finally caused her to regurgitate and defecate on herself and her bed. I heard it occur, heard her sob afterwards, so I went in, carried her to her bath. I ran a warm bath, cleaned her up. I've seen her entire body at this point anyways. And left her wrapped in a blanket on the couch. I took her bedding to the laundromat, got all of that cleaned, scrubbed her comforter, and went out to leave it outside. I thought nothing of it at all. You help those you care about when they need it. I work nights, so I left her that evening. When I woke up today, I came over and found her locked in her room, upset that I saw her like that and did what I did. She says I saw her in a way she never wanted me to see and that she can't handle that. Did I overstep a boundary? I'm sitting on the couch right now and I can't really get her to talk to me. She just says she can't face me. I've always been of the mind that when people are sick, you help them, and cleaning someone who had an accident isn't really a big thing to me. Was I supposed to just leave her in her fluids? TLDR, our girlfriend was sick, had hygiene issues, I cleaned. She is upset I saw her that way. In the comments that they posted on this, or that they copied into this post, kind of summarize my feelings. No, you kind of did a mature thing. Look, she's feeling shitty, and on top of that, probably feels embarrassed. She'll likely get over it when she feels better. Just keep doing what you're doing. Talk about it if she wants, but I'd be very grateful if my partner did that for me. And somebody else commented, agreed, I would do the same thing in your shoes if my boyfriend was sick. That said, please make sure she does go to the doctor. She sounds like she had a pretty bad case. No, I'm probably just being paranoid. My boyfriend's good friend just died of complications from, and then it's cut off, so I'm not really sure what they were. What happened. I mean, but yeah, truly that is kind of the synopsis of the whole thing there. I mean, that's what happens when you are in a relationship with someone. Eventually, if this is a serious relationship and you plan on marrying this person, you're both going to see each other in your 90s when you both might have to wear diapers. So, not saying every 90-year-old has to wear a diaper, but it happens to some, and it might happen to you. So, you're going to have to see your partner like that. And truly, even before you're 90, people get sick. People get sick all the time. It's random luck most of the time. So, there's nothing wrong with it. And she truly is just feeling embarrassed. And I'm honestly so impressed because I unfortunately have met a lot of partners who would go, oh my god, no, that's so gross. Please take care of it yourself. And my fiance, he's only had one girlfriend before me. It was not a great relationship. When we were only like 3 years in, he got really drunk, and of course not the same situation because he got drunk willingly and wasn't like sick, but he got very drunk and he puked. He made it to the bathroom. He didn't really get anything on himself, just kind of dribbled, but I put him in the shower. He's like, you don't have to do this. You don't have to do this. This isn't your problem. I'm like, no, Zach, this is my problem. You're my problem. Not that you're a problem. And I will do this for you. And I showered him off. I changed, his clothes. And I made sure he was comfortable, and I got him back in bed. Because that's what you do as a partner. That's what you sign up for. If you don't want to do that kind of stuff, then you need to date casually. Because in any serious relationship, you should be willing to do that. Of course, some people are be like, well, my partner doesn't do this for me, and that's perfect for us, and it works for us so good. Cool. Good job. I'm so proud that works for you. You doesn't have to. You can expect something from your partner, truly. It's not entitled to expect something. Anyways, there is an update to this. And by the way, when I mentioned that, sorry, I leaned close to the microphone, and that probably spiked the microphone a lot. That was my bad. That was my bad. When I say that it's not entitled to expect something, what I mean is it's not entitled to expect basic decency, like just the basics of being a human. Like, you see me sick, you love me, you help me, the same way a mother would for her kids or a father would for his kids. You get what I mean. Let's get into this update. And he went to her place yesterday, and she looked a lot better but wasn't feeling the best. Pretty much dragged her into the car, took her out to our local clinic. They said she had something called gastroenteritis. I can see the way this word is spelled, but for some reason my mouth is not making the words for it, so apologies. Also, there was an update that said that, like, they talked through the door, and she just admitted that she was afraid he wouldn't see her as attractive, and she was embarrassed. And he, of course, said that was ridiculous. He thought no less of her, and that they needed to go to the doctor. Anyways, back to the update, which they thought was contained by... I don't know why my brain is not braining, but I'm not re-editing this, so I'm just going to take that sentence back, and we're just going to try again. Which they felt was caused by contaminated food. So yeah, it wasn't the flu like a lot of you guys were telling me, but I'm not the smart one she is. I just work at a factory. She was sick. I assumed the flu. Sue me. Anyway, they said she was over the worst of it, but she was probably dangerously dehydrated, so they gave her a fluid IV yesterday. Afterwards, they told me to get her to consume some food and drink with electrolytes. So I have made her drink Gatorade and eat bananas, what they told me yesterday and today. They told me that if it ever happens again, to bring her in earlier as to not allow dehydration to become that advanced. Good to know. As to where they got it, she told me she ate from a food truck. Oh, okay. Sorry. Apologies for the long delay and me having to reread the sentence. As to where she got it, she told me she ate from a truck stop heat lamp / food stash last Friday because she was in a hurry, so she hopefully won't do it again. So she ate like gas station food, is what I'm understanding. To the people who asked, no, I do not work in the medical field. I work at a factory. I did, however, have a grandmother with Alzheimer's that lived with us when I was a teen, and I had help clean her and take care of her because my parents were too grossed out most of the time and too cheap to get a live-in nurse or something. I am not new to bodily fluids. Anyway, thanks to everyone who advised me. She was just embarrassed, and I didn't do anything out of turn. So yeah, I mean, truly that is a really sweet partner to, and I'm not going to say sweet man, because even though he is a man, it should be expected of either gender, truly. But he's a really sweet partner to do this, and I feel like I don't want to overhype what he did because it should be the basics. However, it often is not, and so at the end of the day, I'm gonna go, that was very sweet of you. I'm so glad that you did that, because the idea is hopefully when other people see you praising somebody who did that, they'll go, at the very least, they'll selfishly go, I want that praise too. I'll start doing that. And even though that isn't like the best mindset to have, it's something. And you know what? If it gets somebody to change, it gets something to change. I can't like say no about that. But anyways, let me know if any of my opinions made you mad. Let me know your opinions. I would love to hear opposing sides, or just like, even if you have the same opinion as me, if you just want to talk about it in the comments, I would be more than willing to talk about it. I'm always looking for other mindsets and looking to see what other people think in the world, because it's a really big world, and I've seen very little of it. So anyways, if you want to catch me anywhere soon in person, I will be at Iowa City's GameyCon. I actually think it technically is in Coralville. Anyways, that's in Iowa. If you're not familiar with Iowa, Coralville and Iowa City are two cities that are right next to each other because they were once individual cities. Well, they still are individual cities, but they've grown to the point where they are like a 5-minute drive in between them. But I will be at GameyCon in Coralville, Iowa, at the Hyatt. I will be there. It's very exciting. It's more of a game convention than an anime convention, but I went last year and I really enjoyed it. I met the creator of Boop. He also made Hues and Cues. He bought stuff from my booths, and so that was really, really exciting for me. We also bought Boop from the table next to us, and we played Boop for, like, the entire convention. It was so much fun. But if you want to go, I think they're still selling tickets online. I would definitely recommend it. I'll probably put a thing in the description for the GameyCon website. That is March 6th weekend, so, like, I think it's the weekend of March 6th. My brain can't tell me the exact date right now, but I will also put that in the description. Anyways, thank you everybody for listening to me. I'm just a girl rambling. Well, not a girl, but I mean, yes, I'm a sometimes girl rambling, if that makes sense. I'm still gonna deciding or figuring that out. I'm sorry. I'm rambling. Bye guys.